So we are here today to introduce to you the best show that's going to be on YouTube from past, present, and the future. We are here on the congregation couch. I am the pimp, aka the presidential intellectual masculinity perceived. This is my comrade and partner in crime and doing things that rhyme, Pastor Marquise Combs.
Appreciate that introduction, man. God created mankind, so everything was good already. And then, while everything was good, he decided to create mankind in his own image.
His own image. We're going to start it off from the very beginning on what I believe to be what started all the simple things going on, the anti-pimp way, the anti-dip on your chip way, you know what I'm saying? The things that get you where you want to go, get you in your move and your groove. Adam fell us all, baby, and I'm here to let y'all know that the pimp way is on the way. You understand me? This 1100 thing is honest say right here with this pimping pastor. You know what I'm saying? This dip on my chip go long, understand me?
It go long.
It go long and strong, understand me, pastor? Go long and strong, huh, baby?
We still,
you understand me,
this
pastor?
guy right here, he still
understand me,
we got to pray. We got to pray just to make it today.
We got to pray just to make it today.
I don't fool with them can't see no things. I like them thick chips, you understand me? I like a lot of dip, pastor.
Maggi onion soup and Nestle reduced cream for the freshest, creamiest dip.
A whole lot of dip on my chip.
We're going to try to get back to this verse. He showed out every now and then. We got to wait on him sometime, but we're going to get back to the word.
So, I let them scoop, pastor.
Verse 2. Verse 2. That's what happened when the word try to go forth. Somebody always trying to talk.
Hey, big grab, pastor. Hey, you want the big grab?
We never know how the show gonna go. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give him a moment.
Big grab, pastor. Hey, pastor, hold it.
Lord help. Verse 2.
I want all of it, pastor. All of it.
Verse 2.
Understand me?
If at any moment your voice raises to a higher octave than a bass, you are no longer pimping, you singing.
Is it just about the voice, or is it what? Sometimes
I use the voice as an analogy. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you gotta be loud and thunderous. Understand me?
I mean, a roar and a scream is two different things. You understand me?
Hey, that's a good analogy, pimp.
You hear me?
That's a good analogy, church. A roar and a scream is two different things. Understand me? That roar will come from deep in the belly. Understand me?
Yeah, I love to hear a man roar. What a man roar, whatever made me sit down somewhere. You hear me?
Like a lion.
You know, and if you know me, you understand me. It's a little hard to make me sit down somewhere. But if I hear Mufasa. Yeah, I'm used to sit my ass down somewhere.
Just tingles me.
Yeah, something about that does something to me. Yes, Lord.
So we are here today to introduce to you the best show that's going to be on YouTube from past, present, and the future. We are here on the congregation couch. I am the pimp, aka the presidential intellectual masculinity perceived. This is my comrade and partner in crime and doing things that rhyme, Pastor Marquise Combs.
Appreciate that introduction, man. God created mankind. So everything was good already. And then, while everything was good, he decided to create mankind in his own image.
His own image. We're going to start it off from the very beginning on what I believe to be what started all the simple things going on, the anti-pimp way, the anti-dip on your chip way, you know what I'm saying? The things that get you where you want to go, get you in your move, in your groove. Adam fell us all, baby, and I'm here to let y'all know that the pimp way is on the way. All right, church. We'll let the people come on up in here, man. Understand me? I don't want to get started till I have at least one viewer watching. When we get somebody going, we'll keep on going. In the meantime, understand me? I am the presidential intellectual masculine CEO, understand me? Got my popcorn ready. It's prime time, baby. Tuesday night. Go dive into another word for y'all. Understand me, church? See what we got. Yeah, a couple people in the comments already. But y'all come on in here, church. As y'all see, we got the little camera angles, understand me? We got one viewer watching, understand me? That's enough to get started, understand me? Don't want to hold up the one faithful, loyal viewer, understand me? Or two or more are gathered or something like that, understand me, church? Understand me? So tonight's word is basically about the issue within the dynamic of men and women and our reluctance to maintain our proper energy. Let me make sure we're good to go on the back end, understand? Make sure y'all can hear me on my end. Make sure we're good to go. Make sure y'all can hear me on my end. Yeah, we good. We good, church. All right. So basically tonight, y'all can watch on the replay, understand me? I understand people got to go to work. People got things to do. But tonight's lesson really comes down to the issue between men and women and our reluctance to just maintain our proper energy because for whatever reason, everybody out here trying to win the game, understand me, and steady taking L's, understand me? They trying to win the game, but they ain't winning nothing. They steady taking L's, understand me? They steady hearing this noise right here, church. It ain't good for the home team, church. It ain't good. It ain't good for the home team, y'all. Steady hearing that noise, understand me? You think you got it all together. Check out understand me? We got them angles today, church. We done poured some money into it now. Like, share, and subscribe, understand me? Hope y'all appreciate the upgrade to the production value, man. Give y'all a little bit of something to get engaged. Got my popcorn over here, understand me? Oh, well. And drop some. I get it later, I guess. That's my heart. But there's no such thing as conditional anything when it comes to these proper energies. Either in the proper, correct energy and you get the desired results, or you're not and you don't get the desired results. There ain't no in between, church. So we're going to dive into that first topic and get some context to it. The two primary energies of humans, and this goes all the way back to the very beginning. Understand me?
Adam and Eve, you understand? And some people even want to reference Lilith. I don't know too much about her, but supposedly she was hell on wheels, understand? She couldn't be controlled, and the goat had to get up out of there. She was too much of everything. I guess she was equivalent to, I want to say Lucifer, but supposedly she's a little bit too much for Adam, so they had to get rid of her and try again with Eve, you understand? But basically, there's only two primary energies on planet Earth within the constraints of human beings. You have masculinity and femininity. Those two energies will always do this, church. And nothing more than that. The issue we have in 2023 is you do not have relationships, romantic relationships per se, where you have one masculine individual maintaining that to the best of their ability and one feminine individual maintaining that to the best of their ability. For whatever reason, we've been conditioned to think that whatever your default basis is, or whatever your default personality traits are, we call it equally yoked, or call it what you want to, church. But your default person, your default self, if you ain't living the life you want to live with the man or woman that you want to live it with, and living a life of abundance that you can be proud of, like seriously be proud of, like this is a life you dreamed of, you got work to do. And that includes me, church. I got work to do too, church. Everybody got work to do. Check my text messages. But what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, church, is that if you ain't got what you want, you did something wrong. That's just the name of the game. Ain't no doubt about it. You messed up somewhere, church, if you didn't achieve the goal of happily ever after. Why? How? If you are a heterosexual woman, your primary directives are to maintain your femininity as much as possible. If you are a heterosexual man, your prime directives are to maintain your masculinity as much as possible. Ain't no in between, church. When we find ourselves getting in between, understand me? We find ourselves trying to change the rules of the game. You find yourself taking L's, church. And all you go here is this. Followed by that, church. I didn't make these rules, church. The good Lord did. It's in this book right here. The Bible. This is what we trying to do different compared to everybody else. It's right here in the word, church. It ain't no magic trick to it. You maintain your study of the word, get you a baseline level understanding of these scriptures, apply them, and you'll be okay. Something that I found out that was quite enlightening, and I referenced this a couple times now, church, is that the notion of men and women being friends is not even in there. There's not one scripture in the whole entirety of the Bible referencing men and women being friends. Yet, we have a multitude of individuals who think that you should be building romantic relationships off of friendship. And that's probably the last thing you should do, because there's no hierarchy there amongst friends. There's no leadership amongst friends. Friends come into the scenario equal. Not to say that men or women are above each other. No, there's no one more important than the other. But we are not equals, church. There's a difference between being inferior and not being equal. We can beat this horse to death, church, but we have, if you are from Dallas, Texas, there are no women outside when we had them snowstorms out here. There was not one woman out here fixing no pipes or restoring no electricity out or thawing out ice. Very seldom do you see a woman running on a trash truck. So this whole notion of equality is a pipe dream. We tried it. They started trying to put men, biological men per se, into women's sports. And they've been beating the brakes off of them, understand me? It ain't working out too good. It ain't working out too good. They've been getting out there, go out. Bless their heart. All in the name of equality. Like, we took the bait, church. We fell for the banana in the tailpipe. And we got to do better. And that's some of the logic behind this show, is to give people the instructions tangibly, the steps they can take in order to better their scenario and come out on the other side of it, having the understanding and logic that they need to actually make some tangible improvements to their life scenario. There's so many channels and so many references or so many resources on social media nowadays where everybody's talking about the problem. Nobody's focusing on the solution, not enough, at least. Where does the solution start at? It starts with the word. Number one. We'll start here. It starts here, church. You start there. Read and apply that a little bit. Or whatever spiritual text you want to subscribe to, because it's damn near all the same story, different characters. You start there. Get you a spiritual baseline. Once you get that established, then you start working on understanding your proper hierarchy as a heterosexual man or a heterosexual woman. I keep saying heterosexual man and heterosexual woman because these rules and regulations apply to same-sex couples as well. Those have to be sexually polarized as well, church. Well, sexual polarity is inevitable. Either you follow the rules and you succeed and win, or you don't follow the rules and you fail and lose. Ain't no in between. You go take a L, church, eventually. You may not even be aware you took a L, but you go take some L's. As I said, I didn't make these rules. The good Lord did. Now, we're going to dive back into the topic of it. And this is a term that I really had to put some thought into to define it. But I think I got a pretty good answer, because we've seen the term conditional femininity. Now we're going to harp on the term out the gate. Usually ladies goes first, but we're going to start on the men tonight. That's a comment. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we on them tonight, Nico, understand me? We on them tonight, huh? We got them angles, understand me? Sometimes you might see the popcorn, understand me? Sometimes you might see the bowl, understand me? Sometimes you might see this up close and personal with this pimp now, huh? Pimp crunch, baby. Hashtag pimp crunch. Understand me? We in this thing, baby. Don't be shy. If you want to call in, understand me? Let your grievances be heard, understand me? This is a team effort, understand me? All hands on deck. We need everybody's participation. We don't give away participation trophies, understand me? But your participation is most definitely appreciated. Now, conditional masculinity, understand me? And I think this is where we are right now with these situations, church. From the masculine standpoint, I spend a lot of time, but the Kevin Samuels movement, understand me, church? The whole notion that women are unfit and that men should demand better, or men or should know their value and all this notion. I know at this point, church, that the root cause on why men can never really get women to really maintain their femininity at a high level, because men have been operating in conditional masculinity as well, understand me? They may not come out and say that if a woman is feminine, then I'll lead type stuff. They might not put in those words, but masculinity is tied to action. And unfortunately, a vast majority of men have not been maintaining masculine actions. Quite the contrary. They have allowed themselves to maintain more feminine actions, understand me? A byproduct of that is what I would define as conditional masculinity. So let's get some context there. Let's go story time, understand me? Let's try to give some context. Let's go back to that close-up view so y'all can hear me. Understand me? So I can understand me? Let's take it on back, church. Look at my eyes, understand me? Look at my eyes, church. There's a lot of things that come along with being the presidential intellectual masculine MC, understand me? These words that come out of my lips, understand me, they go kick like Chuck Norris, understand me? And they go hit like Bruce Lee. I am Norris Lee, understand me? I am bringing you this freshest, creamiest dip, understand me? Let's dive on in. Everything that comes along with masculinity, you must do all of that, man, sir. You must be able to provide, protect, lead, guide, direct, motivate, cultivate, be spiritually sound, be their spiritual guidance. You got to be all that. If you ain't doing all that, or you ain't trying to do all that, then you can put that into the boat of conditional masculinity because you're not doing everything you need to do. Now, on the back end of that, you shouldn't be doing any of that if you don't meet the requirements of a woman who's worthy of any of that. How do you know she's worthy of it? Because if you coming with all-in masculinity, she should come with all-in femininity, and it's extremely easy to recognize and distinguish the two. It ain't hard. They ain't crying his allergies, you know what I'm saying? Look at my eyes, church. Coming from a state of passion. So what we need to understand, church, is that you have to go all in with everything you do. If you want this life of luxury and this luxurious, happily ever after lifestyle with the woman and the man of your dreams, you have to go all in on that, on completing that task. You got to go all in, church. If you want to get this right here, dip on your chip. You got to go all in. Understand me? I ain't got to say no more. I just hit this button on you. Understand me? Having too much fun, y'all, church. So you have to understand the rules of engagement. It's like we all understand the rules and regulations of a football game. We understand it's 10 yards to a first down. You get 4 downs to get a first down. If you don't get 10 yards and 4 downs, and you're in between the 100-yard sticks, then you got to punt, or it's a turnover on downs. We have too many people who are trying to play a game of football, and either they don't know the rules, or they trying to break all the rules, or every time they get a drop back pass, they fumbling the ball, and wondering why they keep taking L's. You ain't getting forward progress. You can't get to the line of scrimmage. You're not even getting to the line of scrimmage, understand me? That freshest scrimmage dip, understand me? You're not even getting back to the line of scrimmage, but you have the audacity to wonder why you ain't scored a touchdown yet, let alone win the Super Bowl. You can't win. You can't make a first down, let alone score any points, let alone win the game, let alone the Super Bowl is the goal, understand me? We trying to be the champions of the world. And you can't do that not playing the game by the rules. So, sir, we still back on the men, understand me? Go back to our topics. Yeah. We on them tonight. We on them tonight. Go ahead, hit that link at the top. You want to call in? Everybody's welcome, understand me? Give some context from your perspective. What do you think conditional masculinity is? I already defined it in my words. What do y'all think it is? I think it's any man who wants to have the audacity to demand a certain level of cooperation and femininity from a woman. You got to check all those blocks, sir. That's just what it is. And if you can't check all those blocks, if you can't provide, protect, lead, guide, direct, cultivate, motivate, whatever she needs from you in order for her to be the best version of herself, which, make no mistake, it ain't your responsibility to make her do that. It's your responsibility to help cultivate an environment that's going to assist her in doing that. That environment should already exist before she even meets you. You should be leading the way on all these great traits. That's something you just got to do, sir. No woman or no woman, you must be a great individual regardless of a woman or not. Your motivation for being great is not a woman per se. Your motivation for being great is masculinity. Masculinity is a motivation to be great, inherent and independent of women. Even though the root cause or the root driving force for why most men do this is to get women, and that's what they're falling short. You should not be doing anything that you do in your life to get women. Women are just a byproduct of you being great. They are not the reason why you should be going out here trying to be great. You should be going out here trying to be great because you want to give the Lord all the praise for him blessing you with the opportunity to be great. That's how that works, church. The Lord bless you everything you need at birth. You should be motivated by all the blessings the Lord gave you. Go out here, be great. Praise the Lord for allowing you to be great with all the blessings he gave you. Rinse and repeat. If you live like that way, I guarantee everything you want go come to you, church, real quick, fast, in a hurry. You ain't ever gonna have to worry about no woman problems like that. Only people that got women problems is men who don't live like that. Where you ain't putting the grind in the grind. When you on your grind, when you on your purpose, you are your purpose. You see, we got these angles and stuff. Y'all done switch it up. I've been investing. I didn't go dark for 3 weeks. I'm still investing, church. I don't need nobody to motivate me to go out and buy cameras and buy tripods and spend 8 hours trying to figure out how to hook all this stuff up so it can look good for y'all, so we can have that freshest, creamiest dip, so we can do the close-ups, understand me? So we can get on real close and real tight up in there where y'all can see this presidential and election match can see, you understand me? Where it look pretty with it on, look pretty with it off, understand me? Hey, we have to do some work. Your purpose ain't got nothing to do with no woman. Your purpose is your purpose. You are your purpose, sir. Let me see what these comments say. Hey, this is a great analogy right here. No More Comedian said, my daddy always said, the woman is the engine, the man is the direction. Understand me? Hey, your daddy was a wise man, church. Sound like he had a good daddy. Sound like he had a good one. So let's dive on in. We dove in enough. We talked about the conditional masculinity. Now we're going to dive into the conditional femininity. And this one right here a little bit easier, because this has already been well documented. That's why I started on the men first. Because it's easier to define this one. But basically, the conditional femininity is women who have convinced themselves that, oh, I'll submit for the right man. And we heard this before. A young lady who I put into the category of someone who still ain't figured his life stuff out. She said verbatim through a text message that it wasn't the reason why I ain't figured his life stuff out for as men and women with her 2 baby daddies in a relationship with her in the same sex relationship. Her reason, her logic for why she ain't figured this stuff out yet is not her lack of femininity that was the problem. Even though all her relations weren't with men, she had relationships with women too. Understand me? Just for context now, I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just providing all the context here. This is what this woman said. And I read this in a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, that most human beings are conditioned to defend themselves at all costs. No matter if they caught red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar or not. And I put this individual into the category of someone who with their hand in the cookie jar, where you have enough failed relationships and failed situations with individuals, same sex or not, to where you should know, from my perspective, you shouldn't be thinking about it wasn't me, it was them. So that's what I caught from that. Their exact words were, church, that it wasn't that I didn't have enough feminine energy. It was that the men made me go back to my masculine. And that falls back into the same category of that. That's like a man saying, oh, if a woman is feminine, then I'll make sure I take care of her. Like, no, sir, you should be going here and slaying the dragon regardless A woman shouldn't be the reason why you doing anything. You should be going out here being great, independent of her. Same thing with women. You should be out here being a dainty princess and be eloquent and be lovely and be nice and be sweet and not be out here smoking and drinking. Even though I ain't really got nothing against people want to partake in the alternate substance. Do what you want to do. We all grown. But it ain't a good look. Understand me? It ain't a good look. So what we need to understand is that you are what you put in. Understand me? You get out what you put in his life. So if you call yourself a good woman, the number one objective of being a good woman is not going out here trying to get a job and not trying to go out here and get a degree. I know this is a hard concept to grasp for women nowadays. Extremely difficult. Because I think a lot of women have been conditioned to make sure they put themselves in a position of power when it comes to maintaining financial standing, because they have dealt with so many men who have demonstrated conditional masculinity, whereas they'll pay the bills. They may pay all the bills, but he's a simp. That's conditional masculinity. He may not be a simp, but he don't pay no bill, and he's a dog. Hey, we got the popcorn, understand me? Pimp Cunts 2.0, understand me? Got popcorn tonight. Pimp Cunts 2.0. We got some upgrades, understand me? We got popcorn night, Clunk. Understand me? Get your popcorn ready, baby. Get your popcorn ready. Hold on. I got something for you. We've been in here for a while. I forgot to play my intro song. My bad, church. I forgot to play it. Church. It's prime time, baby. Get your popcorn ready, understand me? We already dove in the word. We still gonna keep this thing going. We gonna be here for a while, understand me? So, women, it's like a defense. They call it. I guess they call it a defense mechanism. But unfortunately, they still taking L's. They say they're defending themselves, or they saying they're doing what they gotta do to make sure they take care of their family or take care of their kids or whatever. But they still taking L's. They still can't find that man that they feel comfortable submitting to, because they don't understand the importance of their femininity. I don't care how big and bad a woman is and her ability to bark and rah and do whatever she's gonna do, or make money or whatever. There's nothing she's gonna be able to do as a heterosexual woman that she can't get done with her femininity, and actually do it way better. Anything and everything on this planet Earth can be achieved through her feminine energy. She can influence every man on the planet Earth to do anything she needs them to do by being dainty and sweet and nice and effective and useful. That's literally all she got to do. Going out here trying to get the bag and stuff, okay, that's another way to skin a cat, but I guarantee that ain't the most efficient way. So the women have been conditioned. They're using their feminine appearance to continuously, they may gather resources from men, but they're not really getting what they want, which is that long-standing, lifelong, I don't want to use the word partnership because we ain't partners, but that lifelong bond, the equal yoke dynamic, understand me? That's tied to the opposite ends of the spectrum, balancing each other out. That's what the definition of equal yoke. It ain't two people bringing the same thing to the table. It's two people bringing the opposite thing to the table, and that balances out the yoke. That's why it's called a yoke. And we got a caller come in, Meals on Wheels, and thing diving in. We'll bring him on in here. Live, baby.
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, trying to upgrade these special effects and going on. You feel me?
Yeah, see, man, I upgraded the studio and whatnot, getting all kinds of angles and such.
Gotta keep them engaged. You know, we got attention span of termites out here, so you know.
Usually the case, but yeah, man, I'm a little late. I didn't get the first part of the show, but I'm here now, so guess that's all that matters.
So you wanna speak on that conditional masculinity? Everybody know the conditional femininity, but I think we need to really harp on the conditional masculinity. We can go back. We don't have to go back to it, but
yeah, I mean, just touching on it real quick. I mean, conditional in itself is usually never a good thing, but I think a lot of cats, especially young cats, get it confused that they just feel like a woman just is supposed to submit just because they the man, right? I'm a believer in, first, before you can even entertain a woman, build the kingdom, right? Build the kingdom first and let the woman occupy whatever space or whatever the case may need to be within that kingdom. A lot of cats feel like that they need to, you know, just because you own a penis, right, that a woman is supposed to do whatever you say when you say it, all of that other type of stuff. That's not how it goes, brother. A lot of cats don't even have any goals to attain. There's a lot of cats that I'm kind of mentoring these days that don't even understand goal setting or any of those type of things, right? So I think it'll be a better move for most men these days, just in general, to have some goals, attain those goals, try to reach whatever your aspirations are and all of that, and then let the woman ascertain whatever she needs to ascertain first. Like just putting myself in the woman's shoes, right? I wouldn't, like, nigga, why I'm following a nigga that just fresh off his mama's couch? Why am I following a nigga that any type of anything I've seen him attempt to do has always been a massive failure? Nigga can't even change my damn car tire, but his ass want me to follow him. Nigga, get out of here with this bull crap, man. I'm not following you nowhere but to oblivion. So I don't feel like any young men, or hell, in that, for that matter, old men should be, just expecting a woman to just follow them just because they're the man. That's always going to lead you, in my personal opinion, is always going to lead you astray.
All right. So, okay, let's talk about the Kevin Samuels effect. I think Kevin Samuels empowered a bunch of men who may or may not fit the bill of a man that's worthy of submission to. How many, in your perspective, how many men you think were just trying to ride that wave, say, yeah, y'all women out here messing up, but at the same time, he got 4 or 5 kids, he got a couple baby mamas. But I don't even want to go down that boat of trying to discredit the man. How many men you think, in your opinion, were actually fit and worthy of submission, and women just inherently chose not to because the balance of that in that hierarchy was just so far off? Like, yeah, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even, I've been in this realm for way before Kevin Samuels was even a thing. And personally, I didn't watch much of his content after he started speaking to women. So a lot of the notion in the Kevin Samuels I got, ain't the Kevin Samuels everybody else got. So how much of that do you think was it just men in general, just trying to ride the wave of, trying to demand more respect and submission from women when they're not worthy of it? Or how much of that you think it was men who actually were worthy of it? They just may not be making the kind of money that women nowadays, I guess the magic number is 100,000. And unfortunately, most men ain't ever gonna make that. So the issue is it a matter of there are men who are worthy of submission that were below that magic number? They were good men. They just didn't make the money like that, or it was something that they were missing. Or do you think it was just a bunch of men trying to ride the wave? Like, what do you think was the overall arcing synopsis of the Kevin Samuels effect, or was it a kind of a mixed bag of everything in between?
So I think a lot of men, especially the men that are coming into this space now, right? I'm a strong believer in self-growth, self-development, all of that other kind of good stuff, right? But I think since we're in this microwave, generation or whatnot, the whole Kevin Samuels thing was a misinterpretation in a lot of cases. And he never really did a good job of expounding. At least I didn't see any content of him kind of expounding on, okay, we got this quote unquote, the archetype of what a quote unquote high value man is, right? Usually when you hear these conversations, it always revolves around money, so on and so forth, right? And I feel like that because of that theme, we kind of got what a actual high value man really is. A high value man is a man of character above all things, right? And if he's a man of character, that man of character is going to always do what he needs to do for his family, for his kids, for his job, anybody that's depending on him, friends, so on and so forth. And I think the part that we're missing these days is because we don't have a lot of high character men, right? We don't have men that really even understand what being a high character man really is. They just hear this high value $100,000 and all of a sudden they feel like they can make all the rules, right? I know, hell, me and you personally know a lot of dudes that's making 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, $1 million and all of this other type of stuff, right? And these cats, I wouldn't advise any woman to follow them, to get onto whatever kind of train or whatever the case may be that they're conducting, right? And there's some of the I guess you can say bad things about the kind of red pill space that I don't like. They over expound on what a high value man is, and a woman should be subservient to some degree, but they don't really get into what a high character person is, or or a person with actual morality and all of that. That's the kind of cat that I would rather be around, a cat that I can actually trust and whatever I need to do, a cat that I can come to and bounce opinions off of, or whatever the case may be, right? And I feel like this whole Kevin Samuels thing, we get caught up in the theatrics, and to some degree it's probably a caricature of who he is in real life. But hell, a lot of us don't know him from behind the camera, right? A lot of us only know this Kevin Samuels cuss a chick out, how much you weigh, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, right? And ultimately, what did it really do? Right? Yeah, it brought awareness, and in some degree, it might even help some men, in some aspects in their life. But at the same time, it probably, in my personal opinion, probably caused more divide than really bringing awareness, especially to our young black men out here.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the divide was already there. He just shined a light on it. And I don't think it wasn't a plus or minus. It created a market that didn't really exist. And it created a bunch of copycats, and it created a bunch of people who are just trying to really just regurgitating his content. Now there's a lane to make money. And it turned it more of like just creating content for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ran across maybe a handful. We'll just say the cats that are more spearheading this space, the red pill space. I don't think I've really ran across too many cats that I can say and look at that are actually genuine cats, right? Cats that are wanting to, have a man better understand the value of being high character, the value to being able for a woman to trust in your word, for your friends to trust in your words, and anybody that falls into your umbrella to trust in your word, right? A high character man doesn't have to go around here lying 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chicks and all of that. It's not about all that. It's not even about your wallet, right? I feel like a man that's high character, the money will come eventually. You work hard enough, you put your head down, you hack away at things long enough, eventually you'll get the fruits. It'll come. But I don't hear too many cats actually talking about the things that matter.
All right. So, Cherie said most women don't take accountability for the problems they have in their lives. I think that goes on both sides of the spectrum. So that's why I want to talk about the conditional masculinity up front. So we have harped on how bad women are for long enough, and I've always been the advocate for the women are only bad because the men allowed it. And we can go back and forth all day about who's on first and the chicken before the egg, but we both have an inherent responsibility. And if we both reside in the proper energy, all these problems we have will solve themselves. Unfortunately, there's nothing in the grand scheme of society that's teaching men or women on how to resolve their problems on their own accord. Why? Because it's not profitable. They want us out here messed up and messed off, and they want us out here arguing and fighting and scratching and clawing with each other with no solutions in sight. That's what they want.
Yeah,
it's profitable.
Yeah, pretty much. And whatever. Unfortunately, with America, just in general, anything that you want to get the answer to is always follow the money, right? It's always discord. It's always confusion. It's always discontent. It's never unity or anything like that. So, get into these, quarrels or whatnot. You see all of these Facebook posts and quarrels and Twitter beefs and all of this other type of stuff, just men and women going back and forth with each other, ultimately we don't get anywhere. You spend too much time worried about things that don't matter.
All right. I agree with all that. So how did we get here, right? How do we learn to have conditional energy? My answer is that it's ingrained in everything we touch. So social media has taken off. There was a point in time when we were young, we never thought that we would have cell phones at all, let alone everybody on earth have them, and the landline phone is literally phased out. It doesn't exist anymore. Unless you're working, unless you're at your job. Your job has it, and even at your job, you might barely use it. So there was an inherent push to create this dynamic that we have today of everybody is just doing just enough to get by. Nobody's really living in a state of excellence. Nobody's really living, most people per se, are not self-aware or honest enough or transparent enough or humble enough to say, hey, you know what? I got a lot of work to do. It's like a mental tick to, instead of saying and taking the onus upon yourself that, hey, the reason why my life is not great is because I didn't put in the work to make my life great. It's a much easier notion to say it's someone else's fault. So a lot of people have been conditioned to be apprehensive about going all in up front, where if you go all in with the right energy, you won't have any issues. So, for example, if a man goes all in with his masculinity when courting a woman, quote unquote, number one, he's not going to be out here shooting his shot at every woman that's for no reason. He's going to confirm that she actually likes him before he's all up here just shooting a shot. And if he do shoot his shot, it's not going to be on some overly aggressive, I'm trying to give you the sun and moon and stars for absolutely no reason. I don't want to get into the weeds about what's masculine, what's not masculine, as far as cold approaching, but I don't recommend no men cold approach. A woman will let you know she likes you in some kind of way, whether it's through a dating app. If y'all both swipe right, then hey, you get a match up that way. At least you breaking the ice. Or if she sees you out in the public, she might find you attractive and y'all can go from there. But just walking up on women randomly, just shooting your shot at them, I don't recommend that. But hey, that's another whole another topic for a different day. But once you break the ice and you have assessed that you want to talk to this woman, you need to confirm that she actually likes you from the jump. You should not be trying to build interest in no women. You shouldn't have the mindset of, oh, she don't like me much now, but I'm going to make her like me over time. No, you don't have to do that. She likes you from the jump. And it's going to be very clear she likes you. And if she does like you, she shouldn't be expected to be on your program all the way from the jump, but you should at least be able to get a certain level of cooperation out of her where you can have a valued conversation where she doesn't feel the need to constantly butt in and cut you off or interject her talking points without you completing your statements.
Yeah.
Those are things I look for in order to avoid getting myself into the weeds with a woman who I know is not fit for duty, not because she ain't an asset to society, not because she don't have the means to make money, but because she's not feminine enough. I'm to the point now where I can't even deal with a woman who doesn't have a very solid stance of feminine presence at all times, no matter the scenario. Even if I say something she might feel is making her feel some type of way, it's a time and a place to say everything. Right now, when the heat of a livid conversation is not the time to be up here trying to tell me about how you gonna conduct yourself within the constraints of me. Number one, I'm not doing nothing in your terms right now, ever. And if you can't understand it's my way or no way off the gate, then it ain't ever gonna be no us. And that's the biggest issue I think women have, is that they can't assess the same way they assess their job. They know when they go work their job, if their job said, hey, I need you to be here at this time, on this day, and this is how many hours you're gonna work. She gonna be there on time on that day, and that's how many hours she gonna work, and she ain't got no problem with it. They can grasp the concept when it comes to working a job, but for that reason, they can't grasp the concept of how important it is to find a man you're willing to have that same amount of respect for, to where if he says, hey, I need you to do this way, and that's all encompassing, you can't just say, okay, I got it, and carry out the mission. And the reason for that is because they have probably most of their life, they have never met a man or an individual who they can honestly depend on and or have enough believability into the words that they are saying to the point to where, okay, I am comfortable with following his instructions.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't say that I necessarily would blame a woman, if she run across, especially if overwhelmingly all she sees is overly contentious conversations that she has, if she's a multiple dater or a serial dater. And if she does decide to go down the relationship road, if all she sees is a man with low character, man with low morale, or morality issues just overall, I mean, eventually, no matter the person, eventually that stuff is going to start to warp their mind. Now they're bitter. Now they are having these overly aggressive conversations and all of that. And it's just a road that you don't need to go down, right? So I think overall, going back to the men, like, bro, we got to do a better job, man. It ain't all the women's fault, because ultimately, let's just be honest. A lot of these Cardi B lyrics, men are writing them, right? A lot of these things that even put Cardi B on, Meg Thee Stallion, and everybody of the such, there are men out here writing these lyrics, right? There's men out here doing all of these things. Women don't necessarily own much, right? So because that's the case, then if we get a better quality man, then by osmosis alone, we'll eventually get a better quality woman. It's just kind of how it goes. At least in my opinion. But, I'm just a young black man out here trying to live.
Come back to my original point. If you work on especially men, your primary objective is not to get a woman or a wife. Your primary objective is to serve the Lord and be the best version of yourself so you can serve the Lord better. Your blessings gonna be tied to the fact that you dedicate your life to being a great whatever, serving the Lord. Cup runneth over. It's kind of difficult to not have what you want out of women when you are in a good position in life in general, and it makes you where you're not gonna. If this is the beauty of it, man. When you put yourself in a better position in life, in all aspects, you're not gonna waste a lot of time going back and forth with a woman who you know ain't on your program. For whatever reason, she ain't buying it. Oh, okay, that's fair. She's a grown adult. You can bid her farewell and move on with life. And it don't take you 2 years and a couple kids to figure that out.
No,
you can figure that out in 2 or 3 dates.
2 or 3 conversations.
Yeah, a couple hours. It don't take long. You can figure that out real quick. She ain't on your program for whatever reason. That's okay. When you know you're in a position of power, when you know you are the one who actually put in the work to really put yourself in a great stance in life, you're not gonna lose no sleep over losing any particular woman, especially one that probably come with baggage stuff anyway.
Usually.
So while you're up here scratching and clawing and fighting for a woman who got 2 or 3 of another dude kids, most likely, and even if she don't got nobody else's kids. Even if she's the youngest, daintiest, prettiest, no kid having woman you ever met in your life, she still got to get in line. Because she going to be the worst one. The one that ain't got no flaws going to be the worst one. She going to be way worse than the one who knows she got to lower her standards, son. And I think that's where the Kevin Samuels message wasn't resonating with a lot of women, because it wasn't coming off as if women need to be more realistic. It was coming off as if women need to settle for men of a certain caliber. Like, oh, you can't get these high value men. You need to settle for this regular old Joe Snow who ain't nothing. He don't look too good. He ain't got no swag. He don't even make that much money, but he'll love you to death.
Yeah.
That's the message that I think women will get in. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to reach for stars. So we got to teach them how to actually accomplish the task they're trying to seek. And telling them that they're unrealistic wasn't working.
Nope. I mean, and a lot of that got lost in the volley. I mean, a lot of the conversations or whatnot that you've seen, at least the ones that were popularized and all of that, were usually it came off as a waste of time, to be honest. There was no unity. There was no actual real conversations that took place. Just a whole lot of what's your dress size, how tall are you, and big Shirley's and all of this other stuff. And I get it. It has to have an entertainment factor. I get it. But at the same time, I mean, isn't the point of all of this for us to grow?
And supposedly they were doing that. He had a Facebook group. Supposedly he had some couples that got together and some marriage and stuff. Supposedly he had made some progress. I don't know how much it was, but supposedly it was progress made. But like I said, the overarching notion was, it wasn't processing that, hey, women, be more feminine. It was processing, hey, women, lower your standards.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we trying to take a different approach here. Is we're not in the game of pointing fingers, and I'm not in the game of telling a woman to lower her standards. Okay, if these are your high standards, woman, this is how you get a man like that. And he was on that for a while, but instead of him saying, "Hey, I don't care what your dress size is," you know what the rules of engagement are. A man like that wants a woman to look like this.
Yeah,
I mean, we ain't got to go in depth on what you look like. Just know this is what it is.
Yeah.
And this is how she acts.
And you should just want that for yourself. Like, if you got a man that's a doggone personal trainer, abbed up, looking like The Rock out here and all of this, why you want to come looking like a pile of Michelin tires? Like, why do you want to do that? A sack of potatoes and all that. Like, you should just want it for yourself, not force him to accept you for, you know, your Lizzo size and all that. Just it's I don't know how we got so lost in this, that everybody, if you form an opinion on any woman or any man, is, you know, fat shaming this and all. Like, I don't know how we got here, but, you know, a certain amount of this is just naturally healthy for you to be in shape, or, you know, accomplish these certain tasks, so you can even feel like that you would deserve a man like that. Like, how are you going to operate in those type of, you know, environments or whatnot if you're not actually applying yourself to do nothing? You fresh off the Popeyes fry cook line, and you at this man in doggone Bugatti parties and all of this other type of stuff. I mean, come on, man. It's a certain amount of stuff you should put in for yourself.
All right, so, and that segues right into this question. So the thing is that we're real big on we are not everybody's invited type of demographic and type of society now, where like the people who may not necessarily could get into the room with these certain individuals, they still there. So whether or not they are the pick of the litter per se, they're still in the room. So that segues into my point on this question. And it goes back to the original point. Is there anything inherently wrong with, at least if you are, let me go back, we had a comment here. Protege said Kevin's message was misunderstood because women in general aren't ready to hear the ugly truth. Okay. Cool. She also said women want to be saved, but it is if she is saving herself, she ain't listen to Kevin, no matter how big or what she looks like. I guess that she referring to like somebody that's like a strong, independent type woman, I guess. Well, it goes back to the energy, right? So I'm real big on trying to simplify this process, right? Because we have made it way too hard.
Yeah.
And nobody's getting the desired results because everybody's made the process way harder than it has to be, and they added way more layers to it than it really even realistically exists. It's a binary 2 + 2 problem, not a super complex physics problem. They turn into a physics problem, and nobody has a solution.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be willing to accept. I mean, the first thing with anything, I mean, my metamorphosis came from me just simply looking in the mirror and understanding that in order for me to be at Z, then I got to do X, Y, so on and so forth to get there. I mean, and that can be applied to, in my personal opinion, all facets of life. You know, if you're 35 and don't have a man and all of that, and you spend most of your time talking about what the man can't do for you, and you got an attitude, run around here, you're recalcitrant all the doggone time, you're unpleasant to be around. I mean, what do you expect? So to fix that, you know, and I don't know if there's how do you fix the attitude, really? If you got years of other than therapy, if you got decades of trauma and all of that, I would probably suggest therapy first. Because if you're unpleasant to be around, I mean, you're never going to be able to, you're going to miss out on a whole lot of things. Men, promotions, all kind of stuff.
The issue with that notion is that a lot of these women that quote unquote potentially need therapy, they still, especially if some of them fall to the equation or fall into the boat of being relatively attractive still, no matter their age. Some women just age grace, especially within the black community. The problem is these women still get attention from the opposite sex, no matter how quote unquote damaged they are. Until these women stop getting attention in all aspects, I mean cold turkey. I mean, like once she gets to the point where she take a sideways selfie and she don't get 100 likes no more, then and only then will these women feel like they are forced to make any inherent changes other than them just having some self-reflection and understanding that the life I want I don't have right now, and these are the improvements I need to make to actually get the life I want. That's not processing, because for every one situation she get where she feel down and out about something, she got 100 men up here in the inbox or liking a picture to where she gets that tangible boost to her psyche to the point where she's not making any self-improvement. And this goes both ways. I know some men who suffer this same fate, who are in prison right now because no matter how bad of an individual he is when it comes to actually handling his business and not out here selling wolf tickets, aka conditional masculinity. He wants to be masculine this way, but not masculine in all aspects. He want to be able to bark whenever and want a woman to mind, but he ain't got the ability to take care of himself, let alone her. But he looks the part. And he can take a selfie and get 100 likes too. It's all the same thing. If you don't find yourself in the right energy, there will be consequences to pay. For women in society, that the ultimate consequence to me for a woman right now that applies to every woman is being a single mother or not being romantically involved no longer with the father of your children. If you are in a scenario and you have children with somebody and you're not with that person no more, I don't care how it failed. And the only thing that there's an excuse for it is they're dead. If they're not dead, you failed. Now, in that failure, what lessons did you learn? That's what it boils down to. Take some self-accountability. Understand, hey, I messed up here. If I had kids with somebody, I'm not with them no more. I made a mistake. That's just what it is. Stop trying to justify it. Stop trying to rationalize it and say, hey, people, I was young. Nope, we were all young. Your parents didn't teach you enough, or they did teach you. You just chose not to follow the instructions. Either way, it's still your fault. Don't blame your mama and your daddy and them for not teaching you what you need to know. I ain't learned what I know right now from my daddy or my mother.
Nah.
They didn't know either.
Yeah. So I think it all circulates back to accountability, man, which is men and women have a problem with it at times, but I mean that has to be where it starts. I mean, I know we're trying to oversimplify these things, but you have to take some sort of accountability first. If I'm not at where I want to be at, then your biggest enemy is the person that, that you're looking back and forth or looking back at you in the mirror. That's the person that's putting the biggest vices on yourself 100% of the time. And once you conquer that person, maybe you can get to the other side of where you're trying to get to.
Hey, I can't argue with that, man. I'm trying to find my little buttons over here.
Hey, man, it's a live show, man. It's a live show.
I need to try to organize these things a little bit better.
That would be ideal.
That'll do for now. All right. Segue to the next topic. All right. So we know the answer is femininity. Well, what is the process of developing and being more feminine? What does that process look like, in your opinion? What do you think are the tangible steps women can take nowadays who may not necessarily even be aware that she's not feminine enough? What steps can she take to be more feminine, or learn how to be more feminine, or start working on being more feminine, or start getting herself in a position where she's attracting more masculine men?
Well, that's a pretty loaded question, but so I feel like, one, she needs to make a decision on what is she actually trying to do. Like, is the overall goal to be in a relationship? Is the overall goal to be a career woman? Blah, 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 yada, 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 right? Once she checks that block, then if she has any kind of insecurities about herself, maybe she don't like the skin, maybe she don't like, whatever the case may be, maybe she feels like she's overweight or whatever the case is, you need to always be working on self-improvement first. I feel like, because just using me for an example, right? Overall, I felt like there are some things that I needed to change about myself first before I went out to go and even try to attempt to entertain anyone else. I don't think the process is any different, whether masculine and feminine or otherwise. I don't think the process is any different between a man and a woman, right? So first, you have to look within yourself, take some accountability on some things that you don't like about yourself, because if you bring that into a new relationship or whatever the case is, you got all these insecurities, you got all of these different things that's going on, then you're going to put all your insecurities on that next person, right? And you're going to make that whole entire environment ridiculous to be in. It's not going to be pleasant. So before you entertain any kind of relationships, work within yourself, see what you need to do to fix it, whether there's some type of self-improvement, i.e. gym, whether maybe you have some personal goals that you're trying to attain, yada, 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 right? Then I would always recommend, it doesn't necessarily have to be traditional counsel or anything like that, but if the goal is to be in a relationship or whatnot, I would get involved with either some type of groups like a mentorship or pastor counseling or any of that. Mainly, this is really just to have some to bounce some ideas off of, to have someone with an unbiased opinion towards certain things. Because I found in my whole metamorphosis too, a lot of my friends were just telling me things that I wanted to hear, right, about myself. I have actual self-improving questions, or at least that's what I tried to do. And I usually got an answer that didn't really do much, right? Keep God first. I got stuff like that. I got, pray and all that, just non-tangible stuff, right? that doesn't work, right? So as far as a woman and being feminine, like I would do those things first, then, because it's going to be different from man to man to man. You're going to have to better understand conflict resolution. What I mean is, in a relationship, you need to always be your man's biggest fan, right? Regardless if he's doing things right, wrong, or indifferent or anything like that, your job is to be his calming presence, not something that he has to battle against. He already has to battle against the world every day, all day, especially as a black man out here. So your job is to learn how to be his calming presence. So if that means that if it's some type of, a contentious conversation, right? It's some type of, there are going to be arguments in any relationship, right? But your job is to not consistently challenge that man through the argument and all of that other type of stuff. You can get your point across and can convey your points in a much more calmer way, rather than trying to battle that man. He got to be all of these different combinations of cuss words and all of this type of stuff that they like to use and all of that, right? It's all kinds of different ways that you can accomplish the same goal without being overly aggressive. All right, so I know it's kind of a long drawn out thing, but there was probably most of the things that I see that are wrong in the relationships that I know of personally. If they did those things first, then their relationship just in itself would probably be a whole lot better.
All right, I ain't got much to even add to that. I do agree with most of the things you said. Only thing that I won't say I disagree with it, but what I've learned through taking the steps I've taken is when the energy is extremely polarized, like all the way, you don't have arguments. It's literally just a matter of, okay, you've developed, you got to, and this is the thing you got to do in order to demand that kind of respect as a man. You always got to be on your P's and Q's. You can't be up here falling off the wagon and stuff and expecting her to be at your beck and call and trust every words come out your mouth. That's kind of comes along with you being in that position of power, is the responsibility of knowing that if she is leaning on all your decision making skills, that you must always be able to provide the proper decision making solution. You should never be in a situation where you don't know what to do. And if there is a scenario where you don't know what to do and you can lean on her, you come to her and say, hey, babe, can you help me with that? Not she's butting into the scenario that she already handling and adding her input on something that you may or may not be in the process of figuring out. Them are two totally different scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot of that, like I said, just doubling back on what you said. I mean, yeah, polarity is going to be a huge part any relationship if you want it to function properly, right? There are going to be times where, yeah, you might not know all the answers, but you know how to get the answers, or get to the person that can give you the answers, or whatever the case is, right? So a lot of times, just if your relationship is properly polarized, then you shouldn't have to worry about those type of things, right? But hey,
Yeah, he may have a disagreement every now and then, but it's not gonna be no knockdown drag out. And personally, I haven't really had no knockdown drag outs with none of the BBWs. It's like we may have some. I won't even necessarily say the ones that actually worked on their femininity. I didn't even have no disagreements with them. We may have a couple scenarios, and it was like a one-time conversation, and it was resolved after that. I didn't have to deal with it no more.
yeah, I mean, that's how it should be. I mean, if you have effective communication, you shouldn't have to be around here arguing with your woman and all of this other type of stuff. It shouldn't happen at all. I know in my current setup, we don't really argue like that. I mean, there's no reason to. For what? She know what I'm gonna check the blocks on what I need to check 100% of the time. And if I can't get it done, I know a guy that knows a guy.
Right. So, what energy should a man work to cultivate? So he been having a bunch of friend zone scenarios his whole life. He just can't figure it out for whatever reason. Even with his wife, he's still in the friend zone with his wife, actually, to where whatever reason he just can't get the respect, or he can't maintain the respect, or it may be good for a little bit, then it start going bad after a while. Like, what energy should he be working on? And he's a good guy. He's a hardworking man. He might be making 50. He be making 75 a year, but he's still having issues.
Yeah, well, we all know good guys finish last, man. And we all know that women don't want good guys per se, right? They don't want good, nice guys and all that. Like, women want a guy that has the ability to be a monster, right? As my boy Jordan Peterson would say, they have the ability to be a monster. However, that's discipline, right? They want a monster with discipline. They want to be able to understand that if and when he needs to go there, he's going to go there. Right, it's not even on no, going upside the head type of thing. I'm talking about in all aspects of life. I'm talking about if there's a goal that he said he's going to do, then doggone it, he's going to do it. If he said he's going to do something for you, he's going to do it. Right? A woman loves that type of stuff. He wants to be a man that his word is absolute 100% of the time. If his word isn't absolute, then what are we doing here? Right? If our goal is maybe your goal is to get married, maybe your goal is to be poly, or whatever your goal is, it doesn't really matter. I feel like as the man, whatever you say needs to be absolute 100% of the time. And the problem is that we have right now, a lot of cats is out here lying. They lying to get these short-term little fixes or whatnot. Yeah, baby, I do this. I work here. I do this. Turned out he living with his mama. He been on the couch for 10 years. All of
that's
this
the beauty of the feminine essence will decipher through that. The same way your masculine energy will give you insight within days, your feminine insight will give you insight within days too, maybe if not minutes.
Yeah, it ain't gonna last long.
You'll know that he finessing. You'll know if he full of crap. It ain't gonna take you long to figure that out.
Yeah. It ain't gonna last long at all, ever. It's gonna be a short-term thing.
Right. But the thing is women, the women that get involved with the quote unquote pookies, and that say for instance that scenario still exists. Like a woman still dating a guy who's in that scenario where the only thing he got is a black trash bag full of his clothes and his PS5 or whatever, or his PS4, right? That's a real life scenario. We hear about it all the time. Only way a woman gets into a scenario like that with a man is if she resides in too much masculine energy. There's no other way.
Yeah,
because a feminine woman would be scared to death to even deal with a guy like that, let alone date him. A man like that would terrify a feminine woman.
Yeah, it should.
She wouldn't be trying to date him. She wouldn't be trying to take him in. She wouldn't be trying to build him up. She wouldn't be trying to help him do nothing other than point him to the nearest homeless shelter if you need a place to stay.
Yep.
As far as like trying to help him out, bring him in, no way, no how, ever.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? Like, and that's why I say, like, you got to take some accountability too, women. Like, why would you even, if the cat coming over your house with a doggone trash bag and a PS5, what are we doing? Like,
well, as I said, that's where I say that the root cause of all this is the imbalance of the energy.
Yeah.
Only a masculine woman would even think to do that task. Only a woman who's conducting herself in a masculine demeanor would think this. Oh, I'm gonna take a dude in who all he got is a PlayStation in a trash bag, and that's all his position as far as I know. Whether he got something else or not, that's all I'm aware of. Only a masculine woman would make that decision. Like I said, a feminine woman would be scared to death. She'd be scared that she'll die in a scenario like that.
She could quite possibly.
Why do so many people match energy? Like instead of being in your proper energy, meaning man stay on your grind, stay focused, women stay in your femininity, stay focused on being an asset to a man. Where did it get to the point to where people are meeting other individuals where they at instead of excelling and being great and expecting other people to raise their level of performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are more influenced by this internet age than they are willing to think so. It's really never really a message of be masculine and these are the ways to attain that, or be masculine and this is also the quality of man that you should be on top of that, or so on and so forth. It's never that. It's usually match energy this, match energy that, and it's nothing to really expound on that, right? So,
the biggest thing, the whole craze between like right now, especially with the young kids, or how they interact with each other, young men and women, they all calling each other bro.
Exactly.
So they match your energy down to the T, even down to how they talk to each other. They both coming with masculinity. Both of y'all calling each other bro.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous, man. I hear it all the time, bro.
Sheree said women need to be right, and men being emotional is why people match energy. I guess what she's saying is basically men are allowing themselves to be more feminine in those moments of leadership, and they, instead of them staying in a position of stoicness, they coming to where the woman is and letting her lead the emotional diction of where the conversation goes, or whatever the case. And we'll be told that we're only speaking about, these are only verbals 99.99% of the time. These are only verbal situations. That's the crazy part about it. We talk about all this energy stuff, and when most time, unless you are a woman beater, which most men who are quote unquote feminine, hopefully they don't fall into this category, but a feminine dude is way more likely to go upside your head than a masculine one. A masculine dude just go walk away before you get to that point. I call it the laws.
Yeah.
So the thing is that in order to get to that point to where you're having these altercations, you have to deal with this for a certain, like if you have her matching energy, that means you was on that off the top. First dates, you was up here trying to roll out the red carpet for no reason. You up here trying to spoil, and you trying to prove yourself to her instead of her proving herself to you.
Yep. A lot of cats lead you with money.
It may not necessarily be money. They leading with something. They leading with simple energy. It may involve some money, but even a dude who ain't got no money, he might need a place to stay. It's all the same thing.
Yep.
It's all the same energy. He needs to get something from her, whether it's sex or a place to stay or whatever it is. He trying to finesse something that he may or may not be qualified to get. Because if he was qualified to get whatever it is, he'll get it willingly. He won't have to pay nothing for it. You got to spend one dime with a woman who actually feeling you.
Usually not.
A date ain't gonna be free, but the expectation ain't gonna be there, and you're not gonna approach a scenario where, I got to take out on some dates and spend $100, $200 at Benihana's before she wanna come back to the house with me or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you really in your energy, you can take a woman on a trip to the grocery store. It don't matter. Why you can't go on a date to meet her at there? Maybe make it. Y'all go shopping together, something like that. Get your little groceries, take it back to the crib, cook for her, whatever the case may be. Hell, it's free.
Right.
Definitely
more ways. There's definitely way more efficient ways than courting women than leading with your wallet and trying to go to Salt Bay and watch you taking to Salt Bay and watching somebody that work at Salt Bay feed her some steak.
Mm-hmm.
You watching somebody else feed her some meat.
Pretty much.
Insert cash or select payment type.
Yep. That's not. It's not.
Bless your heart.
It's not gonna go the way that you want it to go, bro.
Whole little tink tink, boy. Where was that? And I think we already touched on this one already.
Yeah.
And we touched on that one as well. All right. And we go to the opposite end of it. All right. So say you do have a feminine dude and you are more of a masculine woman. Do those relationships ever work?
Man, hell no. The polarity is all off, man.
They never work, do they? That's crazy. Like,
No.
and they may stay together, but they're not happy. They can't afford to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And why would you even want to be involved in any of that? If you're not living life to the fullest 100% of the time, then why do it?
But I mean, I think a lot of people. I'm trying to speak to the notion of somebody who's in that scenario. They're not happy. They can't afford to leave, or they might be able to afford to leave if they really work towards it. But they still defend it though. They still like, "Oh, my husband, my wife."
Yeah, I mean, you get to a place of complacency
where they're not really happy as they make themselves out to be, but they'll still defend it in their misery.
Yeah, I mean, any long-term relationship, especially when you go into decades that they've been together, or anything usually over 5 years or so. I mean, a lot of people feel like it's cheaper to keep her, right? That's what a lot of cats feel. I didn't even really understand the real terms of that song until I got older, and I started seeing how life actually goes for these cats out here. Maybe you got 2-3 kids or something like that, and just over the years, she got more and more meaner, or whatever the case is. A lot of cats just stay. They don't want to, see what's really out here in these streets and all of that other type of stuff. But I've never saw a relationship like that last and them both be happy. That's for sure. Eventually, it all comes to an end, and usually it's not going to be a good thing for the man, feminine or otherwise.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen any of those scenarios where the relationship actually was something I would want. It actually was the total opposite of what I would consider a happy marriage. I would never want to find myself in one of those scenarios where I'm just there and I can't leave, I can't afford to go, and we just there, we miserable, we don't even sleep together no more. We don't even sleep in the same room.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you said I know some people specifically that don't even sleep in the same room, or in some cases the same house, and married.
Right. Quite unfortunate.
But hey, I mean, in those scenarios, I blame the man.
Right. So I guess the opposite question is, I guess it's the same. It's the same answer, but more context on it. For as a feminine man in a romantic relationship, I know a lot of men are taking on more feminine mannerisms and doing more feminine things, and they're not aware of it. They're not aware that they put off a lot of feminine energy by the way they act.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're actually turning their wife off in the process of doing it. I'll say this. Are they actually turning off because she's so masculine? Is it, where we draw the line here? Like, is she really actually being turned off by the guy? Because she's more masculine anyway, right?
Yeah, but her biology, I mean, overall, although most women these days are more masculine, by nature, they still want traditional, standards when it comes to, their men. They still want a big, strong man that don't take no stuff, this, that, and the third. So being a feminine man usually isn't going to bid well either. That's going to lead you to the friend zone. That's going to lead you to not getting any kind of skins from your wife and all that, sleeping in different rooms and blah 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 and all of that.
I think it's a timing of it. Like, I think it happens over a long period of time. It may take years, and they not processing that all the stuff you've been doing is actually to your detriment until it's too late, and now it's beyond recovery. Like you can't fix it now. It's like it's to the point to where it's beyond repair.
Yeah, I mean, once a woman is done, then in most cases she's done, brother. Like once she finally makes her mind up that you out of there, then you probably need to go ahead and set that go walk off into the sunset.
And in most scenarios, women do just leave now. There's a couple scenarios we know of where they just stay because they can't afford to leave. Those are few and far between. Nowadays, they just getting up out of there. They ain't staying no more.
Yeah, they're incentivized to leave.
Right. Even Bill Gates' wife's divorced, and they both old. She old. Ain't nobody checking. Nobody on God's green earth is checking for Bill Gates' wife.
Nope.
But she left. Even she left. Like,
So
what is it that you so unhappy about it into your past 50 years old, wrinkled up, not sexually appealing at all whatsoever? What is she looking for? What was so bad where she needed a divorce in that scenario?
Yeah, I would definitely like to be a fly on the wall to see what the real problems was, and maybe it was something that was brewing for a while. I don't know if they have any kids or anything like that, but maybe they just stayed together for the kids, or how those scenarios go.
Right.
So,
all right, this is our second to last topic. Then we go ahead and finish up with some biblical context. All right, and we kind of hit on this already, but we seen this all the time, right? But I think I typed it wrong. I actually meant to say this is actually the correct answer.
Yeah.
But I actually meant to say feminine man plus masculine woman. Is that like we got the power couple of the world, the Dwayne Wades and Gabrielle Unions? Is that a power couple?
Nah, man. Dwayne Wade.
They making money. They making big moves. They influencing world policy. They pushing the alphabet community and making big waves. How's it not a power couple?
What they're doing is exploiting their child. That's what they're doing. And, I mean, it just is what it is. That child doesn't have the mental capacity to even make a decision like that. All of this, I was born like this and blah, blah, blah. I've always felt this way. Yeah, okay. But you're also, when this whole process started, was only 12, 13 years old. And now this facade has been going on all this time. I'm an advocate of be what you want to be. I don't really care one way or the other, but don't try to, squelch somebody else's opinion on it. Right. I'm not the whole Boosie stuff that they got going on back and forth. Yeah, it's entertaining, but that's also Boosie's opinion. Like, don't force any and everybody to be just okay with this, what we got going on with this. Dwayne Wade, just seeing Dwayne Wade's history and his Miami days and all of that before Gabriel came along, I'm really surprised that they're even together anyways. It'll be an interesting story to hear how they even actually got together, to be honest. But Dwayne can't be happy. Every day, I mean, Gabriel Union is, she's 52 now, 53, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they got some weird Will and Jada stuff going on in their relationship, to be honest.
Right. Most unfortunate.
Yeah.
And everything you said was right on the money. I don't see how any of that situation is a good scenario. Everything about that is tragic.
Yeah, I mean, but whatever makes you happy. I mean, maybe there's some things behind the camera that she does for him. Maybe she is more, submissive to him behind the camera, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, she's a little loose in the mouth, and their sexcapades. Some of the things that she said out of her own mouth about Dwayne Wade that I'm automatically ruling him out on any kind of masculine anything.
Yeah, not a fan. So we'll segue to our last topic because I agree with everything you just said there. And what do you think are some examples of properly polarized relationships in Hollywood or in modern society? Like, the people need an example of this. What do you think is an example that we can say, hey,
Denzel Washington and Pauletta?
Who?
Denzel Washington and his wife Pauletta.
Oh yeah. That's a good example. Yep, you sure right.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his wife looked like. That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's how polarized it is. I have no clue what Denzel Washington's wife looked like.
Exactly. Right, because she handles all the business that she needs to handle. She's supportive. Anytime I've ever heard her actually speak in public and all that, she's always very extremely feminine. She's always has her morals and everything else intact. She's always respectful of her man, his time, all of that kind of good stuff. Even back when they were younger, when Denzel used to be the man back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been married 30 plus years. So it's a reason why. Now I'm sure they got, things going on behind the scenes, especially with Denzel being the man. But
Right.
overall,
I know he won. He's no way he was faithful the whole time.
yeah, I mean, but overall, I feel like that's a good example of where you need to be. Angela Bassett and her husband. I forgot the cat's name, but Angela Bassett she's never really been, to my knowledge anyways. She's always been fit, fine, feminine, and all of that kind of stuff. Although she plays a certain things in movie roles and whatnot, actually behind the scenes, I think she's always been the example of what a woman is supposed to be and how she carries and conducts herself.
What about the lady from the Cosby Show? I can't remember her name. She's not married though, is she?
Talking about the wife from the Cosby Show?
Yeah.
I forgot her name. I can't remember. Don't give me the
I don't think
line.
she married.
I don't know off the top of my head, but
Alicia Rashad.
Huh?
Alicia Rashad.
Oh, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think she was ever married, but she played that role well, boy.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know where society changed, because back in the day we used to have a lot of good examples of feminine, what an actual feminine woman is supposed to be within the household. A lot of these wives or whatever there was in these shows, took on a role that was always motherly, was always nurturing, all of that kind of good stuff. So I don't know where
the show that we all watched and liked growing up as kids. It was a legendary show that probably couldn't come out right now, but I think kind of like far as sitcoms go, kind of started this whole women just sit around do nothing and they just there, and the man is miserable, but he still take care of his family. Is married with children, man.
Yeah, I was about to say probably married with children. It was
that sitcom kind of started this whole everything in society is the epitome of that.
Yeah, because Al, boy, he's golly, Al was miserable, boy. God,
But he was actually a masculine man, though. That's the crazy part about it. He was actually he was like to the border. He was borderline toxic masculine.
Mm-hmm. And boy, I just watched that the other day. To be that's crazy. But yeah,
right. They can put that out nowadays. But it still worked. Nobody was getting a divorce. You never heard of But who did get a divorce and married a couple husbands was Marcy.
Marcy, yeah.
Marcy had 2 or 3 husbands on the show.
Yeah, I mean that should be a microcosm.
These people know what they're doing with these shows, man. They knew Marcy was butch out here.
Yeah, super butch, and you see where it got her. Divorced multiple times.
Steve ran out on it. The other dude ran out on too, I think.
Yeah, just terrible to be around. Like she was unpleasant always.
I always get into it with Al. Al just want to read the paper, man, watch the game.
Yeah, big chilling. That's all he wanted to do. The man wanted to come home from work, stick his hand in his pants, and just chill out. He didn't want to do all this extra stuff, and wanted some dinner cooked.
She come over here raising hell.
He's like, girl, get out of my house.
Why don't you go home? Why you always in my house?
You got something else to do.
Like they didn't film no scenes at their house. All the scenes was at Al and them house. Why are you always over here?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Al was, he took care of his business, went to work. Although I know he hated his job, I know he hated all that, but he had a family. So,
but that's the example of the Kevin Samuels type of guy, the hardworking blue collar man who ain't making a lot of money, but still has enough respect. And he may not be the best man ever, but he still respects. And it should be respected and still take care of his house. But Peggy, even though she was worthless, she was still feminine though.
Yeah, I mean, she did what she needed to do.
She was still feminine. So that was a saving grace. Al was toxic, but Peggy was useless. But the thing is, she was feminine, so it kind of even in the horrible that was a horrible scenario outside looking in, as far as the whole dynamic of the marriage in my eyes. Yet it still worked, and you never heard the notion of Al and Peggy getting a divorce.
Nope, never even was considered.
Why? Because the polarity was there. Even though supposedly they couldn't stand each other, they hated each other technically, but they still slept in the same bed. Peggy still wore like little dainty outfits and stuff. See, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lesson. If you want to know, if worst case scenario, you should be able to achieve married with children.
Yeah, and that's bottom of the barrel scenario.
But unfortunately, we got a bunch of Marcy and Steves. We ain't got a bunch of we got a bunch of Marcys and Steves and Jeffersons. That's what we got in 2023. Too many Marcys and Jeffersons, not enough Al's and Peggy's.
Dang. Yeah, it looks
All right,
like
let's go good for our last topic for the night. Always want to end it with a bit of biblical context on it. Go to the Googles. I'll jump into the phone right quick. Biblical context on masculine men and feminine. We already know. I think we already looked up masculine women before, so we know the word go have some context for us. Understand? All right. All I did was Google the Bible on male masculinity. That's all I Googled. I ain't dove into it at all because I'm just reading from the front page of Google. All you gotta do is Google the Bible on male masculinity. Basically answer the question, what does the Bible say about a man being a man, quote unquote? God commands us to be filled with the Spirit, Ephesians 5:18. A boy becomes a man when he relinquishes his right to direct and control himself and turns his spirit over to God to be controlled by the Holy Spirit. Didn't I just say that a while ago? All right, church, I need you to understand. Before I do these shows, before I get into my highlight of the biblical context at the end, I don't research this beforehand, church. I just wing it. And I already know the answers. This is why it's so easy for me to rebuttal people and stands 10 toes down on my talking points, because I know it to be true. It's not a theory for me anymore. These are just the facts of life. I said about an hour ago, lean on the word first, and then everything else will come after that. All I do is Google masculinity in men in the Bible, and that's the first thing to pop out. So we can stop right there. Let's go ahead and go to the women part, and we'll go and get up out of here for the night. All right. Basically, what it came up with, what are the biblical principles of womanhood? This is what Google said. Understand me? All right, it ain't really saying much in video. All right. What is biblical femininity? Hold up. All right. First Peter 3, 3rd through 4th verse. Understand me? Your adornment must not be merely external, braiding the hair and wearing the gold and jewelry or putting on dresses, but let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable quality of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of God. All things we just spoke on. It's right there in the word, church. I don't know why we keep beating our head against the wall. All you gotta do is literally read your Bible and apply it, and you'll be okay. That's literally all you gotta do. But yet we don't do things our way. Oh, BBW came with some answers. Felicia Rashad was married 3 times, so maybe she was just good on the Cosby Show.
Yep.
She do got them evil eyes though. She got them succubus eyes where like she probably was a man eater boy. She was fine, boy. She had Heathcliff crazy, and that was wait.
First of all, any cat named Heathcliff, I'm pretty sure he gonna be crazy.
All right, so we kind of dove into the word right there. Hey, church, all the information's out there. We just trying to make it to the point to where people can get what they need to get to go where they want to go. Understand me, church? We need to put people in a position of power so they actually can implement strategies to cultivate the environment within your mental capacity to where you can take tangible steps to actually get the desired results out of your life. Too many people out here lost in the sauce when all you gotta do, pick up your Bible, read it and apply it, understand it, and know that in 2023, if you're not getting tangible results with the quickness, 6 months top, then you're doing something wrong. Life is not that difficult anymore. It never really was, but we got too much technology at our fingertips for us to be out here still silly and sad off. Understand me? So with that said, church, we'll let y'all get up out of here for the night. Appreciate everybody that came in, like, shared, and subscribed and commented. Understand me? We're gonna keep this thing grinding all 2023. Hope y'all enjoy the new angles and stuff for the live show. These same angles will be applied to the sit-down shows as well. We got some content in the pipe. We got about 3 or 4 videos cooking right now. Understand me? I had to go hire me another editor. Understand me? And I might start doing a little bit of editing myself. But just know that we coming to y'all with the content. We'll continue to put in the work. Understand me? We still got the goal of saving the world 1 simp at a time. Survival of the simp. Understand me? And we out this thing, baby.